morning, everybody. We're live. We're sorry we're a few minutes late. Completely my fault. The perils of working at home. I had to sort out the dog and the dog walker. It's all very professional, very slick. But yeah, it's one of the joys of running your own business. You become the chief cook and bottle washer, don't you? Basically, in fact, Sandra and I were just having a chat about that. That when you run your own business, you're expected to do everything, including making the tea. So the reason we've gone live today is I've got the lovely Sandra Lamb joining us. And Sandra Lamb I think we met through networking, didn't we, Sandra? Originally,
right.
we did originally. And then it sort of transpired that Sandra quite wanted to write a book. And I sort of said, oh, funny you should mention that. And our sort of relationship moved on from there. She then became, we started working together. And then towards the end of her book writing journey, she joined the Rite of Passage Growth Academy, and we all launched our books in November on the 27th, I think it was, wasn't it? After a year of me frantically shouting at everybody, I need that draft in by yesterday. So Sandra was one of my lovely writers to write her first book. She is a very experienced physiotherapist and stress and anxiety therapist, having been doing it for about 30 years.
Yeah. Well, physio is what I started with, and that was 30, coming up 35 years. Yeah.
Well, you're looking good on it, my love. But where does the time go, eh?
Indeed.
I know. So Sandra's very experienced, and she's got lots of wonderful advice, tips, and wisdom to offer. So her book is called Calm Your Worry Warrior. So do you want to tell people, anyone who hasn't read it yet, what was it about, Sandra, in a nutshell?
In a nutshell. Right. So basically it is about how to deal with stress and how stress impacts us. But some people do find that below the surface, that all the time there's worries going on. And it's basically as I call it, our worry warrior sitting beneath the surface. The reason that it's there is to protect us. And for some reason or other, patterns of thought processes have been developed that create that. And very often the stress that we feel is about our perception of the situations rather than the situations itself. And the experiences we've had will influence our beliefs and our expectations. And that's what creates our worry warrior. Many people believe it's just who they are, but it's actually who they've become. It's how their brains learnt to deal with what's going on around them. And it can get in the way, and it can make life quite difficult, and it can make life quite exhausting, which means people do sometimes end up with overwhelm, feeling stuck, not getting things done that they want to do. Feeling anxious can really get in the way of being, as the book says, who you're truly meant to be. So the purpose of the book really is to help people understand that in the first place, and to provide a bit of a framework to enable people to move beyond that. That's the kind of work that I do with individuals, and I wanted to write the book so I could share it with more people.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And obviously I've read it because I helped you through the process, and I got to do the first proofread. But what I love about the book is it's written in, for want of a better word, normal language. You know, like some of these sort of help books or some of these kind of technical manuals, they're so difficult to read and they're so sort of jargony that certainly puts me off. So, but I love how easy it is to read and how relatable it is. And also there were lots of times when I was reading it going, oh yeah, I do that, or oh goodness, I didn't know. Do you know? And it kind of, I think you're right. When you get to a point in your life, you're so busy on the treadmill, aren't you, of going through and you're doing 100 million things and spinning so many plates, that you don't realize how much you compensate for things automatically. And like you say, your subconscious drives the bus. So all of that stuff that's gone on is your brain's way of saying, oh, don't do that. Or, you know, like your brain will tell you not to run out in the road because that's something that you've learned is dangerous. And that is when it's a good thing. But it can also sort of set patterns that aren't so helpful, can't it? So it's fascinating. It's a fascinating subject. So let's think about, you know, we know roughly what the book is about, but, you know, how long had you wanted to write a book?
A number of years, I would say. A number of years. Yeah, I mean, probably I would say at least 5 years, I would say that I've been thinking about writing it,
Yeah,
if not a bit longer really, and I've kind of semi-started it a few times in that
yeah.
time, um, and and it's just never quite happened.
Mm.
I've kind of started it, changed tack slightly, and I've just kept kind of getting to a bit of a halt.
Mm.
But I decided at the beginning of last year that this would be the year that I finished
Yeah,
the book. Well, I would actually start it properly and
yeah,
finish it properly
yeah,
and
yeah,
get it in
yeah,
print. And I made that sort of promise to myself.
yeah, yeah.
And I think obviously meeting you was the real turning point, really, because um, yeah, I mean, who knows why I didn't do it before? Maybe it just wasn't
No,
the right time,
no,
and
and
maybe it
that's
just
sometimes the
wasn't the
case,
right.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Mm,
exactly. And there's so much information in your head. It's
mm,
about being in the right time with that to be able
yeah,
to deliver it how you wanted it to.
yeah,
And I'd come to a point where I felt a lot more confident about what I wanted to say.
yeah.
But again, the sort of process of doing that and how do I get it into print was a little bit like, oh, I don't really know anything about that.
No, it's a
Um,
minefield, isn't it?
yeah, and speaking
Yeah,
to you, you were like, "Oh, yeah, it's okay. It's easy when you
mm,
know how, and
yeah,
obviously
yeah,
you know how." So
yeah,
that's kind of why I was like, "Right, this is who
yeah,
I need to work with. This is really
yeah. Oh,
what's
that's
gonna
awesome. It was.
move it forward for me."
Do you know what I loved about the academy? That we had people who were this, from such diverse backgrounds. We had, a couple of children's books, we had a couple of novels, we had you with your business book, and that really brought lot of diversity to the party, actually, didn't it? Which was, and it's
Yeah.
lovely to have those. And I think probably um the main things, I don't, you tell me if you would agree, the main things that hold people back from writing a book is confidence and time. Really, they're the two pains and challenges, really, aren't they? So I
Yeah.
haven't got the time and I haven't really got the confidence, and I would say on the back of that, it's not really knowing what to write. I had a conversation with a lady this morning who said, I've got so many ideas. And I said, actually, what you might have is 2 or 3 books right there. So it's
Mm.
about kind of, we talked a lot, didn't we, about like,
Yeah.
let's streamline it, let's really focus and kind of
Yeah.
hone in on what your title is, really, your sort of
Yeah.
main bit of the book. So, and I also think that being in a group, that accountability, we all
Mm.
need accountability in our lives, don't
That
we?
was the biggest thing I think for me
Mm,
as well. I mean, obviously, as well as all the expertise, but to be really, right, we're going to publish on this
yeah,
date, and that was, otherwise,
yeah,
even working, if I'd have been leading it, I'd be going, oh well, how about if I extend it
yeah,
a little bit
yeah,
further down the
yeah,
road?
yeah,
So it
yeah,
was really good as a
yeah,
group. We were all
yeah,
going to be doing it at the same time.
yeah,
We'd planned the event as it were, like we're
yeah,
all going to get together on this day, and all of our
yeah,
books will be published, and it
yeah.
made it real. It really made
Mm,
it real, and therefore it was going to happen.
mm. You
And
can't back
and
out then, can you?
I talk about that sort of stuff in the book about
Yeah,
visualizing how it's going to be, but having that whole support structure from the group and the motivation from everybody
yeah,
else as well,
yeah,
really made it
yeah.
real, and
'Cause
that's what brought it to reality as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
because you're big on setting intentions, aren't you? And I think that's true
Mm.
with anything. If you don't set the intention, if you don't set yourself, it's so easy. I mean, you know what life's like. A lot of us are mums, wives, husbands, girlfriends, brothers, sisters. We've got lots of stuff in our life, and it's very
Mm.
easy to, but some of the things that are sort of talking to you and things I've talked to, like if you've got a job, if you go to an office, you don't suddenly phone up one day and go, well, I was going to come in, but dishwasher needed sorted out. I had to do this, had to do that. So I'm really sorry I couldn't make it today. You wouldn't do that, would you? But quite
No.
often with things like writing, you go, oh well, I'll just sort of shelve it, and then it becomes quite a battle. It did make me laugh when I sort of said, right, okay, so we're going to publish on this date, and that means I need your manuscript in like probably 2 months at least before.
Mm.
And everybody sort of went, oh,
Yeah, it was a bit like, "Okay, let's really get on this then." Yeah, which I do. I mean, I do like working under pressure, I think. I
yeah,
think I find it easier when I've got a target and I can work towards it. And
mm,
which, as you say, when you work on your own is if you're setting your own
hard.
targets and you're setting your own goals, and you haven't got the accountability, it's so easy for other things to take over and to keep
Yeah,
pushing that further down the track. So,
yeah, yeah. And
um,
I also think being part of a group, and it was such a lovely group as well. You're not wanting to let each other down then, are you? And you
Yeah,
don't want to
that's
be
it.
the only kid who hasn't done your homework and
Yeah,
all of that kind of
that's
thing.
it.
So you kind of that's really, and that's just life. As humans, we love that camaraderie, don't we? And anyone who's got a small business or is any kind of entrepreneur will know that collaboration is
Yeah,
everything, isn't it? Being
yeah,
able to
that's
sort
it.
of get strength from a group can
Yeah.
be crucial, really,
Yeah,
can't it?
definitely. And the feedback that,
Mm.
you are on track, and also
Mm.
sometimes, oh, hang on, maybe you want to try this as well.
Yeah.
Again, that's really invaluable, because if there is any self-doubt, if you're just reading it yourself, you're like, is that all right? Is that
Yeah. Oh my
okay?
God.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so to
I
have
still
that,
get that. Yeah. I still get. I'm 10 books in, and I'm still going. Oh,
yeah,
is that all right?
yeah, so to have that sort of feedback on themes and where you're heading, and like you say,
Mm.
the tone of how you're writing it and things like that,
Mm.
it's just
Mm.
invaluable, really. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're planning number two, aren't you?
I am, yes. That
So
is going to
exciting.
be sometime this year.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, what I'm aiming for is a follow-up to
Yeah.
Calm Your Worry Warrior,
Yeah.
with some collaboration involved in that
Yeah.
as well.
I love
So
that. I
that's
love that.
details to follow soon.
Yeah. I know. You've been bitten by the bug. It's quite I think there's nothing like the sense of achievement of seeing yourself published as an author. I mean, I just love that. It's a really great feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It was funny at a network thing yesterday. It's like, oh, please introduce yourself. So I said, I'm a physiotherapist, a stress and anxiety therapist, and a Pilates instructor. And I did. Da, 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 da. It was just a really short introduction. And then somebody else put in the message, and don't forget, Sandra, you're an author too.
Ah,
Um, and I was like, oh yes, I've got to
I
remember to do
know.
that bit now.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's so lovely. Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
and I think, I sort of say about that there's lots of benefits to writing a business book, isn't there? For example,
mm,
there is kudos from being a published author. So anybody and because writing a book is hard work, isn't it? It's not, I mean, it's enjoyable, but it does take
mm,
dedication, it does take commitment, it does take time, it does take effort. So rightly so, there is kudos attached to anything that is a process that you've really had to commit to. So that you get that kudos from having been published. You get the kind of platform to sort of elevate yourself as an expert in your field, whatever your area, because obviously you've got to have something to write about, so you need some knowledge, don't you, and some
mm,
background. It means you can attract more customers to you because of your book, and people can see you as someone who's got that credibility. And also, another colleague of mine said that she had tried to get certain speaking opportunities, and particularly some speaking opportunities, will not accept people who aren't published authors. So there's a little bit of that, it's all a
mm,
bit
mm,
bit
mm.
celeb, which
Yeah.
is great. But what would you say have been the sort of maybe the immediate impacts of writing your business book, and what do you hope are the long-term impacts?
So I think, like you said, immediately people do take notice a little bit more,
Mm.
I think. And it was lovely, the amount of people that supported and
Yeah,
congratulated me on it was just amazing. I was just completely overwhelmed how
yeah,
many people were like, wow, that's amazing, well done, and all the rest of that. And it sparked an interest in people that perhaps they may not have thought about coming to speak to me about
mm,
the kind of work I do. So that was really good. It's also helped me focus my business.
mm,
And I've delivered workshops before, I've delivered retreats, and some of the work that I've included in the book is what I've delivered in the past, which is what I've kind of brought together. But
yeah,
putting it there in print, if you like, has given me a real structure to be able to
mm,
deliver more workshops in the future, and on a sort of regular basis, so
mm,
offering sort of webinars and workshops so that people get a chance to work with me and understand how I work, understand how they can benefit from
mm,
the kind of work that I deliver.
mm,
It gives them that chance to sort of dip their toe in the water with the sort of work I do. but as I say, it's given me that real focus for the business, so I can move that forward and share more what I'm doing with a wider audience, really, rather than before, where it was more ad hoc workshops, and then the option was sort of just one-to-one work with me, which obviously I'm still delivering, but it means I've got a bit more of a structure to what I am offering.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Bev says it's such a great tool and a process. Yeah, I mean, it is. I love your book. I think it's really, it's really accessible, and
Good, thank
um,
you.
yeah, and something that I instantly thought, yeah, I'm going to try that. I'd like to do that. And then you say, from a business person's point of view, that you're enticing people in, aren't you? Because I think any kind of book, whether it's a business book or a novel or a children's, it is a very personal process, and the reader can't help but have a little bit of insight into you as a person. And particularly when you talk about business, we know people buy from people, don't they? Because let's face it, there's 1,000 hairdressers in one town, but you don't all go to the same one, do you? There's
No, exactly.
loads of dentists. So you avoid most of them, but you don't. If every hairdresser was the same, you'd all visit the same one, wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's very much a personal thing. So I think that kind of insight into you, particularly from a business point of view, is what will attract customers to you, because they'll be, oh, I really like what she's got to say, and it really resonates with me. And obviously, when you're one person, you can only distribute to so many people, but with a book,
Yes.
sky's
Yeah.
the limit, isn't it? I mean, you can get that out to millions, can't
Yes.
you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, I'm quite passionate about the message within it as well. So
Yeah,
I just want to be able to share it with as many people as I can.
yeah,
And I think having the book helps that, really,
yeah, yeah.
and spreads
I,
that
I
message a
that
bit more
comes through.
widely.
You can hear in your, and I think anything without passion is a bit flat anyway. You've got to do it with a bit of conviction, because otherwise it
Yeah.
won't. It's not very authentic, is it? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great message, and I think it's something that will you really want to help people, and you really want people to sort of live their best life, as it were.
Yeah,
And that's a
absolutely.
lovely way to do it, isn't it?
Mm, mm.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. No, it's been such a pleasure working with you, and it's been lovely having you in the group. And so what would your kind of takeaway tip be for anyone thinking about writing a business book?
Yeah, just get on and do it, really.
Yeah,
Find, set your intention, but think about why you want to do it. What's it going to bring for you, and
yeah,
what's it going to bring for the people that you're writing it for? I think
yeah.
it's really, it's really important.
Lovely.
Mm.
Okay. So to that effect, if there is anybody out there who would still like to write their business book but they're not sure, I'm running a free 5-day challenge which starts on the 10th of January. The first meeting is at 10 o'clock on the 10th of January. That's the Monday, and I will help you to overcome those challenges, like your time management, your confidence, your worry about whether you can actually do it, whether it's many people say, "Oh, I'm rubbish at writing," and I say, "Well, if you can talk, you can write. You don't deliberate. As a, say you had that challenge. I know you wrote beautifully, but you know, as a physiotherapist, you don't second guess every piece of advice that you offer to your customer, because you're secure in that knowledge, and you're confident in that knowledge, and you express it through words. But when we write, we sort of kind of tend to second
Mm.
guess ourselves, and all of that knowledge goes out the window. So I'm very much a believer, if you can talk, you can write, and it's about believing that you can do it. And I mean, I know you will know I've said this, let go of perfection, let it come, and then edit it afterwards. Because the beautiful thing about writing is, how many times have you said stuff that you can't take back? The beautiful thing about writing is you've got that second chance
Absolutely.
before you throw it out there. There's certain times I've had conversations that I wish I'd edited before I sent them all out.
Yeah, can I? Yeah, rewind and delete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The power of hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But yeah. So if you do think you'd like to write a business book but you're not sure, come and join the free challenge. We'll have a Zoom each day, and I'll set you some little tasks and some hopefully little nice small bite-sized easy chunks, things that you can easily go away and do the next step, won't take you hours and hours and hours, but will get you on that path. And if nothing else, by the end of the 5 days, you should at least have a clearer idea of what your business book may look like, what the objectives are for that book, and some sort of outline plan. Because I think quite often, like you say, we've got all these crazy ideas, so that when you come to put them down on paper, it's a bit of a jumble, isn't it? So having that clear idea about what you want to write is a good thing. So if you'd like to join us, I will, by the power of Grayskull and all that, I think I'll try and put the link in fact, what I'm going to do, just in the comments, I'll put the link to the to my website, because I know how to do that. And you can sign up on the website, or you can simply go to at Karen Stanley author, which is my author page. I'll put that in as well, look, and then everybody's got oh, there we go. I'll put it up twice. So this is how brilliant I am at this kind of thing. And the Facebook is at Karen Stanley author, and you'll find the event on there. It's the 5-day Get Your Business Book Started challenge, and we're filling up nicely already, and it would be lovely to see more people coming in, really.
Do it. Honestly, it is the best. It's great. It is a real great highlight.
In
your business, definitely.
And one of my favourite things is, what have you got to lose? Only good stuff can come from it. It's not much you do in life where only good stuff can come from it, is it? You've got nothing to lose, have you, really?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm just putting in 5 days, start your business book challenge, and then hopefully people, if they're interested, will be able to find it. So I'd love to see you. And as usual, if you have any questions, I'm always available for questions. I love a question. So any parting words today, Sandra? Have you got a nice busy week planned for your business?
Things are pretty busy, actually. Got back to work yesterday after Christmas and New Year break, and there's a long stream of people that are wanting to book in and things, which is good. So it's nice that I've got things.
That New Year kind of, it's quite a nice time, isn't it? I'm trying to give up sugar, which is proving tricky. I keep walking past the biscuit jar like a long lost friend and trying not to look at it.
Again, that's retraining our body and brain, isn't it?
I know. And I like it. I like sweet stuff so much. So you almost become, I suppose you become addicted to the endorphins or whatever it gives you. And and then when it goes to your waistline, you regret it. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for your help.
Oh, do you know what? You've been an absolute joy to work with. Very dedicated, very committed to the cause. Lots of words of wisdom for all of us in the group. I'm sure everybody in the group would agree with that. And if you do want to find Sandra's book, I'm just going to put it in the chat. Calm Your Worry Warrior can be found on Amazon by Sandra Lamb. And it's a wonderful read. It's full of helpful tips and advice. It's brilliantly written and completely accessible and doable, which I really like that about it. So if you are living a life where you're a tiny bit stressed out, then this is the book for you. And Sandra's got lots of wonderful things to say. So thanks again. Oh, Jane's just said brilliant. Yeah, it was a brilliant book, Jane, wasn't it? Yeah.
And like I say, if your worry is getting in the way of writing your book, then think about reading the book so that you can write.
There you go. We've got it. We are gonna we're gonna rule the world.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure as always.
Challenge.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm raring to go. I keep waking up at 5 in the morning with all these more brilliant ideas. Then I have to sort of just to rein myself in. Yeah, Beverly Bunn said she loved your book. Yeah, it was a great book, and what a great achievement.
Love Ned's too.
Well, they all wrote great books, didn't they?
Absolutely.
They all wrote marvelous books. Bev said, lovely to hear your voices. She wrote a lovely children's book, When Harvey Met Chester. Jane wrote the brilliant Cactus Growers Club. We had Jackie with I Am Agnes. We had Fiona, Croc Tales. So we had a beautiful range. So they're I'm very proud of my little gang, my founder members. So if you'd like to find out more, just go to the website, and I'd love to see you on the challenge. Take care. Thank you for joining us. Wish you all a happy, healthy, prosperous 2022. My God.
Indeed.
And hope to see you all soon. Thank you and take care.